A rainy evening settled over the city as people rushed into a small neighborhood coffee shop to escape the cold. The warm lights inside reflected against the windows while soft music played in the background. Behind the counter, employees moved quickly, calling out orders and steaming milk as the café filled with customers. Near the entrance stood a young woman in a faded cream sweater, clutching a tiny piece of paper in nervous hands. Her name was Emma. She was deaf since birth, and although she had learned to navigate life with courage, moments like this still made her anxious. She looked around carefully before stepping toward the counter. The line behind her grew longer, and impatient sighs slowly began to rise from the crowd. Emma tried to smile politely as she pointed toward the menu board, but the cashier spoke too quickly for her to understand. The young cashier repeated the question louder, assuming volume would help. Emma's cheeks turned red with embarrassment. She shook her head softly and pulled out her phone, trying to type her order, but her hands trembled from the pressure of everyone staring at her. A few people in line exchanged awkward looks. One man muttered that she was taking too long. Emma lowered her eyes, feeling the familiar sting of isolation she had experienced so many times before. She almost stepped away from the counter completely. But then something unexpected happened. At a nearby table sat a single father named Daniel with his 8-year-old daughter Lily. Daniel had come to the café after finishing a long shift at work, hopping to spend a little time with his daughter before heading home. Lily noticed Emma's struggle immediately. Tugging gently on her father's sleeve, she whispered, "Dad, please help her." Daniel looked toward the counter, and without hesitation he stood up. Calmly walking over, he caught Emma's attention with a kind smile. Then to everyone's surprise, Daniel began signing in fluent sign language. Emma froze for a moment, shocked someone understood her. Her worried expression slowly melted into disbelief, then relief. Daniel signed, "Take your time. What would you like to order?" Emma's eyes filled with tears almost instantly. For the first time that evening, she smiled. It wasn't just a small smile, it was the kind of smile that comes from finally feeling seen. The café suddenly felt quieter, softer, warmer. Daniel helped interpret her order for the cashier while Lily watched proudly beside him. Emma ordered a caramel latte and a blueberry muffin, then signed a heartfelt thank you. Daniel simply shrugged modestly and signed back, "Everyone deserves kindness." But Lily wasn't finished. She walked up to Emma shyly and signed a few simple words she had recently learned from her father. "You have a beautiful smile." Emma covered her mouth in surprise before laughing silently. Other customers who had once looked impatient now watched the interaction with guilt and admiration. Some even wiped tears from their eyes. After Emma received her order, Daniel and Lily invited her to sit with them. At first she hesitated, but something about their kindness felt genuine. So she joined them. Over warm coffee and pastries, Emma learned that Daniel's late wife had been deaf, which was why he and Lily had learned sign language years ago. Since losing his wife, Daniel had struggled to raise Lily alone while carrying the weight of grief quietly every day. Yet despite his pain, he still chose kindness whenever he could. Emma shared that she worked as an artist and often avoided crowded places because communicating with strangers was exhausting. Lily listened carefully, fascinated by Emma's expressive signing and bright personality. What started as a difficult evening slowly transformed into a beautiful connection between three lonely hearts. Hours passed before they even noticed the rain had stopped outside. Before leaving, Emma pulled a small sketchbook from her bag. Quickly, she drew a simple picture of Daniel and Lily sitting together at the café table. Underneath the drawing, she wrote, "Tonight, you reminded me I'm not invisible." Daniel stared at the sketch quietly, deeply moved. Lily hugged Emma tightly before she left, and Emma promised to visit the café again someday. As Emma walked out into the glowing city lights, she carried something far more important than coffee in her hands. She carried hope. Meanwhile, inside the café, several customers began searching online for ways to learn sign language themselves. One small act of compassion had quietly inspired an entire room. And sometimes, that's how the world changes, not through grand speeches or fame, but through simple moments where one person chooses to care. Daniel watched Emma disappear into the night and realized something, too. Maybe healing doesn't happen all at once. Maybe it begins in tiny moments of kindness shared between strangers. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because every story here is a reminder that kindness still exists in this world. And sometimes, a single gesture can completely change someone's life forever.